This video reveals 3 easy wins to save money for retirement that most people miss. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
Hi, this is Jeff Schmidt with holyschmidt.com and welcome to another video. Hey, if you want to learn how to gain control of your finances, lower your taxes, maybe even build a small side business that lasts with you well into retirement, you've come to the right place. Make sure you click subscribe below and notifications so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. What I'm going to show you next won't surprise you. In fact, after the initial aha moment, there are several things that are going to happen. First is that most of you will take in the information, you'll know that it's correct, but still do nothing with it. Not you perhaps, but most people. In these 30 journals right in front of me, there's 20 years worth of business experience. I started journaling 20 years ago and it was the best thing I could do for business. In fact, it helped me focus the mind and accelerate where I was in this world vis-a-vis my business. Many of these journals started on the 1st of January, and on the 1st of January I would set the New Year's resolution for the year. But I stopped doing that about 9 years ago, and I'll tell you why. It was because I was setting New Year's resolutions that were almost impossible to achieve, and many of those could be achieved if I broke them up into smaller pieces. But instead of doing that, I put grand New Year's Eve resolutions with no plan in place. The biggest problem with that, and you'll see what I'm talking about here, is that you become emotionally addicted to hitting those resolutions. And in the case of spending money, you'll put in place a plan, you'll spend money to start that plan, and then a few days later, you'll stop. But the money that you put into the subscription or the health club membership or whatever it is continues on. The number one mistake people make with money is that they get a New Year's Eve mindset. They set a goal, they spend money towards that goal, and then they don't do anything with it. And by spending money towards that goal, they feel like they're on their way, that they are in process to achieve that goal, even if they take no other steps whatsoever. And so they stay committed way too long to the goal because they know the minute they quit, they've failed, and they don't want to fail that goal. Let's take a big goal, like losing weight. Now, for many people, losing weight means you join a health club and you exercise 3 to 5 times a week. But I'm sure it wouldn't surprise you to know that when you walk into a multi-million-dollar health club that can perhaps service 200 to 300 people at a time, if there were only 200 to 300 members of that health club, the club would go out of business. In fact, the economics of health clubs are very interesting because most of the revenue that comes from health club subscriptions comes from people that never use the club. You walk into the health club, you've decided that you're going to get in shape, so you sign up and it's $99 a month and an additional $49 a month for the locker, so you're paying $148 a month. And the next day you show up for orientation, you do your first workout, and then you never go back again. Canceling equals failing, so you keep on paying, even though you shouldn't. Do you know how that health club can afford to give you a multi-million-dollar facility? Because the phenomenon that I just spoke about happens all of the time. Health clubs have thousands of members, but very few, maybe even less than 100, actually work out on a consistent basis. So the health club makes a ton of money, but the gym stays empty. Another example is the New Year's resolution to start a business. So the first thing you do is you subscribe to all the stuff that you think the business should have. And these are internet services and Facebook advertising and all of the other accoutrements that go along with it. But you don't actually start the business. You've just put the money out for the stuff that goes along with the business. You don't want to cancel those subscriptions because it means that you failed. You haven't built that business that you said that you were going to do. Another example is for busy people that want to bring their family closer together. The entire timeshare market is built on the back of people that want to come together and spend time with each other years and years into the future. But what happens most of the time with the timeshare is that you buy the timeshare, at least you sign up and you pay your down payment. You set up a monthly payment program for the next 15 years, and you might go for 1 or 2 seasons and that's it. The timeshare sits empty for the rest of the time. Number 2 is that in business, old loyal customers often pay more than new customers. It's only when you threaten to leave that you get the new customer discount. Think about your mobile plan. How many times have you called up your mobile carrier and told them that you were thinking about switching and you wanted to port your telephone number over to the new carrier? The very first thing they do is they review your account. They find some areas where you might be overspending, i.e. you're using the old plan when you should be on the new plan. They move you over to the new plan and boom, you stay with them for the next few years. When you go to refinance your mortgage, you find out that you get a better rate than you did when you first signed up. Or my all-time favorite, the 3-pack from Cablevision of telephone, cable, and internet services, that when you bundle them together, you get a better rate than if you own them separately. But you really only find out about this when you found Verizon's 3-pack and you started to move in that direction, then your cable company gave it to you as well. Secret number 3 is that most things that are trendy are also a heck of a lot more expensive and probably don't work as well as their classic solution. Hey, you've heard the saying that bookstores are dead. And that's because stores like Amazon.com, online stores like Amazon.com, sell everything virtually. Now, while bookstores are dead, paperback books and hardback books are not dead at all. There were $26 billion worth of books sold in 2018. Of those, only $2 billion were sold digitally, so they were ebooks. And that $2 billion number has flatlined. It hasn't gone up in a long time. Yet, for the average person out there, you go out and you buy really expensive equipment like a Kindle or an iPad or some other tablet so that you have the right software to view your books online. But the problem is when you actually buy the book, it may be a little bit less expensive, but it's hard to read. So what ends up happening? You go back to the paperback or the hardback book, which is far less expensive, by the way. Now, the next one is quite controversial. Please hear me out the entire way because this is an example. It's not a view. Gasoline cars are more reliable than electric cars. Now, before you freak out at me, you got to hear me out here. Last year, I went out and I bought a Tesla. It was a beautiful car. It was the Model S, wonderful lines, great interior. I love the dash with the monitors, the dual monitors. And I got the looks when I was driving it. 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds. But the problem was that it was ridiculously expensive. Now, that in and of itself wasn't a deal breaker. There are some other things that I didn't really like I didn't enjoy waiting 30 minutes at the supercharger to get my car charged when I was making long trips. That was okay. I knew that going in. I didn't like the fact that the car suddenly would need to be rebooted like a computer when the system went a little bit haywire, especially when I was driving. Still, I was okay with that. I didn't really like the fact that there were a lot of haters out there who actually hated the fact that I was driving the car and would show me the bird when I was driving past a few of them, or make negative comments when they walked past the car. Still, all of that was fine. But here was the deal breaker. One day I was driving and I had something on my mind. I wasn't fully paying attention. So I came to a stop at a stop sign. It was a 4-way stop sign. And I looked left, I looked right, and I pulled out in the intersection and I saw the car on my left, but I didn't see the car on my left. And so it came through the intersection and I clipped it with my bumper. Now, it was a fender bender, but that totaled the car. And the problem was, and still is, all of the electronics are in the bumpers. And the battery sits on an aluminum frame, so if you even get a bit of a ding coming this way, the frame needs to be replaced. That was a deal breaker. So I replaced it with a gas-powered SUV that gets decent mileage. Do I still get the same looks? Nope. Do I still get the same exhilaration when I hit the gas, or the electricity, I suppose? Nope. Do I feel like I'm saving the planet? Not even close. Am I paying $4,000 less a year in car payments? Absolutely. Am I paying $2,000 less a year in insurance? You bet I am. So just on that car alone, I am saving $6,000 a year. Now let's talk about the $500 sneaker, the $1,000 purse, and the $1,500 suit. Stan Smith Adidas sneakers are about $80 and they look good with just about anything. You can wear them dressed down with a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. You can wear them dressed up with a pair of slacks and even a sport coat. But there's an artist out in LA that has taken that sneaker and added something to it. Colors and bejeweling and a few other things. And now those same Stan Smith sneakers sell for $500 to someone who wants the artist's improvement. Are they a better sneaker? No. But does the wearer feel special, exhilarated when they put on the $500 sneaker? Sure. But that sneaker will last about a week before it starts to get dirty and about 3 weeks before it goes in the closet. Louis Vuitton purses are about $1,000, maybe even more. You can buy a really good knockoff down in New York City for about 50 bucks, and there is nobody that can tell the difference, except for the person who owns it. They don't get the excitement that their purse costs a week's pay. Armani suits are wonderful suits. They're about $1,500 and up unless you go to an outlet store, but it's not really the same suit. But when you buy an Armani suit, you're buying the name. However, if you went to Brooks Brothers and you bought one of their top of the line suits, you'd pay about half price and the lines would look very similar. People would know that you have a quality suit on, and there wouldn't be a question as to whether they should do business with you or somebody wearing an Armani suit. It is the same feel. In fact, someone might even question them versus you simply because they don't have an understanding of money, at least in terms of if they disclose the fact that they had the suit on or not. The bottom line to all of this is that you can save a lot of money if your mind does not get in the way. Now, here's what you need to do to save a ton of money right now. Take a day off of work, preferably a Friday, so that when you call these vendors, you don't wait on hold for 20, 30 minutes. Go into your checking account or your credit card account and download your transactions for the last 12 months and look for the recurring ones. They will have the name of the vendor and the telephone number for you to call to cancel it. And then at that very moment, make the decision, call them and cancel that subscription. Now, obviously, if we're talking about things like life insurance, that's a different story, but I'm talking about health club memberships that you're not using, or magazine subscriptions that you signed up for that you just throw in the garbage before you even read them. Business subscriptions, expensive business subscriptions in many cases, to things that you'd never use. You can always resubscribe later, but the trick right now is to get those off your plate and clear out the spend so that you can use it for retirement savings. Next, look for vendors that you actually do business with and ask yourself if they're giving you the best possible price. If it's a landscaper who cuts your lawn, you're probably okay. But if it's a telephone company, if it's an internet service provider, all of these have different prices and they don't make it easy for you. So go in and look for the things that you spend on that you actually do use and ask yourself, if you called them today, would they give you a better price, or would they possibly give you a better price? Then call them and ask if this is their best possible price. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said I don't set New Year's resolutions. That is absolutely true, but I do set resolutions. I do them in July, so at the midpoint of the year. In fact, I use July 4th to set my resolutions. Resolutions are important because they do allow you, and they do force you to goal set, and if you know nothing else besides looking at the stack of journals, you'll know that I do a lot of planning and goal setting and execution of these plans. But the difference between doing it in July and on New Year's Eve is that you're not caught up in the hyperbole of getting to it now. And the second part to setting and planning your resolutions or your goals, that's another term for goals, is that anything that you want to spend money on, any subscription that you're going to sign up for, wait exactly 1 week. And if you still feel like signing up for it, then go for it. But if you don't feel like now is the time, it's absolutely okay to work the rest of your resolutions. Then check it every 3 months. If you're not using what you spent the money on, cancel it immediately. Again, you can always re-sign up. They'll be happy to take your money for whatever it is that you're spending your money on. Keep doing this for the rest of your life and you'll have a lot more money when it comes time to retire. And frankly, you'll have a lot more money in retirement because you'll be using these same habits to enjoy what really matters and discard the stuff that doesn't matter so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, please consider subscribing. I'd love to show you a lot more than this one video. Also, if you want to learn how to really maximize savings from a mortgage refinance, check out this video right here. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.